there is a legislative presumption that there is the existence of cruelty. It is to prevent cruelty that the legislation has been enacted. There is the legislative presumption. And it is therefore to prevent cruelty that the law is enacted. So the underlying principle in the legislation itself is that domesticated animals are subjected to cruelty. A dog, all species, Malaj. And Malaj, the fact of the matter is that I will just give as a side, Malaj, there is a particular culture in France where they feed a particular bird and keep it in the cage till it bursts. And then they have it on the table. It's a practice. So one thing I agree with, that animals are sentient animals. They have sensitivities. They suffer pain. No doubt about it. All animals suffer pain when they are domesticated. I mean, just imagine, Malaj, you see the kind of, in the old days, we used to go on Tongas, Malaj, from the railway station to our homes, Malaj. See the number of people who used to be on the Tonga? The poor horse used to sort of weighed down by the sheer weight. Suffering. Necessary? I don't know.
What causes pain?
What causes pain? All kinds of things. Well, it's noise cause. I give you a lot of example.
What causes physiologically? What causes pain?
Any external what should
Stimuli.
Stimuli. Yes. Any external stimuli.
What is the mechanism by which pain is produced in a human body, for example?
Again, Malaj, external stimuli or internal.
It is at the.
Yes, and then it's
the existence of neurons.
Yes.
In the brain.
Yes, correct. Your lordship is right.
So in fact, if you see, there are a lot of studies which they are really tentative. What is the nature of the pain that is caused to animals? Our brain different from the rest of the species. The existence of billions of neurons in our brain is what constitutes our brain.
Correct.
It goes from the
Absolutely.
receptors in your wherever it is. Similarly, like you put a hand and take it back.
Correct.
Goes to the spine, then goes to the
Correct.
lower part of the brain.
Correct.
And there you have so many millions of them producing. In respect of other species, studies are going on. Actually, really, are they experiencing pain? It itself is a subject that is nascent. It is in its infancy.
Malaj, I can only see the manifestation of it. You take a dog near a fire, Malaj, he'll go back. So, I mean,
Obviously.
Yeah, you know,
Life-saving.
he senses danger. So, Malaj, he now wants to protect itself. Unbelievable.
For example, because take for example the bird.
Yes.
How does it live in the Arctic or wherever they live in the very cold regions? Their system, body mechanism.
Yes, of course.
They don't require sweaters. I would have thought, how they are protected.
Malaj,
Nature protects. They've got a special mechanism.
let me give you two examples, Malaj.
Thick skin, you say.
Many years ago, I was in Lake Baikal, Malaj, in Russia. And Malaj, in Lake Baikal, there is a fish, a small little fish, which is at the bottom of the lake. And you can imagine the pressure of water on that fish, but it survives. What is the mechanism? We don't know. Give you another example. I was in the Arctic, Malaj, many years ago again. And in the Arctic, there is a bird that comes from the Antarctic. And on a given day, comes to the, and every year on the same day, it reaches the Arctic and it flies back on a particular day to the Antarctic. And it knows its way. We have yet to discover all these things. But be that as it may, that's the this is only by the way.
They have identified the principle. It enables
Yes.
the birds to fly exactly.
Absolutely.
They have put it down to, I will tell you, before the data.
Yeah. Now, Malas, the other thing that your lordship needs to appreciate, and I think where the judgment has gone completely wrong, not every duty results in a concomitant right or a corresponding right. As a matter of law, Malas, my duty to respect the national flag, there's no right involved. It's part of my duty under 51A. And several of those duties, there are no rights involved there. So that's the other aspect that your lordships will have to look at. And the judgment in Nagaraj presumes that because there is a duty to ensure the well-being of the animal, there is a right of the animal to demand well-being. No such right. Rights are given by law. Law is made by human beings. And rights are of two kinds, against the state and our relation with each other and with nature. When I say each other, it means your fellow human beings and nature. So there is no concept of rights of an animal. There is the concept of making sure that in our relationship with the animal, we follow certain moral norms. And the underlying moral norm is not to cause unnecessary pain and suffering.
A court in Ecuador is perhaps Ecuador.
Yes.
And ironically, people by the Spanish, the mix of the Spanish and the Indian tribes, they have come up with, for the first time, they have created an animal rights.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can get that judgment. Must be in Spanish. So, like to see that. A monkey was picked up when it was a child, if I can describe the monkey as a child, by a kept as a pet for about 18 years. The officials swooped down on her, took it away, put it in a zoo or put it back in the forest. Within 1 month, the monkey died of cardiac arrest.
Yes.
So she took the matter to court. And there the court said animals have rights. The one judgment, we'd like to see it if possible. With
we'll try and get it.
Ecuador.
Right. So, Malaj, that's one aspect of it. The other is, Malaj, and that's the factual part that your lordships will have to consider. The Nagaraj judgment proceeded on a particular regime that was prevalent at that time. Now, in Nagaraj, the Animal Welfare Board presented 3 reports of 2013. Pursuant to directions by this court to go and investigate as to what's happening on the ground. The report of the Animal Welfare Board of India was presented. These reports were presented to the court. The court took them as the factual basis of what was happening on the ground.